Hello, subscribers and first-time viewers to the Kenny Hack. Today we're trying something else kind of new. Gonna be trying these mirror effect spray paints. Got two different brands, the Rust-Oleum and the Krylon. The Krylon here is usually pretty easy to find in most hardware stores. This Rust-Oleum mirror effect had to find online. I couldn't find it in any of my local stores. I think one place had the gold color, but finding the silver mirror effect was hard to find. These are kind of expensive little spray cans. They're only 6-ounce glass, 6-ounce cans. They do about 4 square feet. You have to put on about 5 coats of it to create the mirror effect. And they go on really, really thin. This stuff is really thinly alcohol based. It goes on very transparent. It takes about 3 or 4 layers before it starts getting a little bit difficult to see through. I've done a couple practice tests and I found that this stuff flakes off very easy. It doesn't hold up very well to, like, after you burn an image. If you have to kind of try to brush off any residue, this stuff will flake off the glass very easy. So the test I'm trying to do today is I'm going to kind of do it all in reverse order. This is going to be the last coat I put on the project. Here's kind of the project setup. I got an old piece of glass. This was off an old entertainment center. It's been laying in my garage for years. I thought just use that for something to use. What I'm going to be burning is just this straight outlined D&D logo. I don't have a license for it. Once again, this is for educational purposes and personal use. And what I'm going to do is I just trace that image in light burn and turn it into a line. Don't really know what settings I need to burn through the masking tape. I don't think it's going to take very much, but I'm going to burn the outline. Then I'm going to weed out the masking tape for the logo. I'll then paint in the logo. Then I'll take off the rest of the masking tape and paint the mirror effect on last. And then after that's all on, I'll put another black layer over the back of it just to kind of seal everything in. And hopefully this won't work for every kind of mirror application, but if you're doing a simple outline logo like this, that trying to cut that into a mirror, something that's 200 millimeters by 300 millimeters. If this was a typical mirror, normally you'd be running about 1,000 millimeters per minute for a diode. And it'd probably be anywhere from 85 to 100% power. And if this was on fill mode, at 254 dpi. Normally a mirror this size, you'd be looking at about 5 hours worth of burn time, 5.5 hours. That's a lot of burn time for a little craft mirror and just for some fun project. So trying to see how this stuff works. I know in my previous tests, it doesn't look like a perfect mirror. It's all how good a spray painter you are, how even of a coat you can put on. I'm not a great spray painter, so my mirror effect looked a little blotchy, but it looked 90% like a mirror with the little blotchy spots. It kind of looked like more like an antiqued mirror, like a really old mirror that's been a little aged a bit. But most of my tests didn't work out because that paint is so flaky. I'd always end up brushing some off and it just kind of screw everything up. So I'm trying this technique of kind of masking it, paint in the logo, and then put the mirror effect on last. And we'll see how this one turns out. I think this is probably the correct technique to use this paint. Now, this paint is expensive. I don't know if I said that earlier, but this stuff is about $10 a can and only does about 4 square feet. So it's, if you can find a cheap source of mirrors and you don't mind running your laser for long hours at really high power, if you want to stick with the mirrors, this is fine. This is just going to be a lot quicker, less laser time. Kind of could hopefully get the project done really fast, get the paint on, blow dry it, get the masking tape off, get it all mirrored up, and it'll be done hopefully in a fairly short order. And instead of letting all your paint cure for days, we'll see how it does. So I'm gonna just burn out the image and we'll go from there. So while the design's burning in, little quick update. I ended up going down to 500 millimeters per minute at 85% power, and that's looking like it's burning through the tape all the way through to where it should. I didn't want any little bits hanging on. I wanted to be able to weed out really well, not have any sticky edges that I might pull up the edge that's going to be painted over. So overall, this whole design is only going to take about 7 minutes of laser time, so slowing it down to that speed. If you know me, I run everything pretty fast, but it's still just doing line work. So 7 minutes at 85% power isn't too bad. But on these paints, in a side-by-side comparison, I'd say this Rust-Oleum mirror effect creates a little better mirror than the Looking Glass Krylon. Like I said, this stuff is a little easier to find than the Rust-Oleum. They're both about $10 for a little can. Both cover about the same area. They go on at the same application rate. So if you're a better spray painter and know how to get nice even coats, it might turn out better for you. But for my first test runs, this one seemed to do a little better of a mirror effect. So, but if you're not going for the highest quality of mirror anyways, it's just a kind of a quick mirror effect, this one might work fine for you. Enough to maybe you can go buy this locally, get your hands on it quick, maybe make a couple test pieces, kind of figure out your methodology of how you want to do your projects. And then by the time this stuff arrives a week later from wherever you get it, you might have, you know how you want to do it. So here's the finished burn, and you can see it's burned clear through the tape. Nice clean cut, so it should be easy to weed out, and I'll show you that when I'm done. So here's the design all weeded out. It peeled out pretty good. There were some places where the tape is doubled up that the burn didn't quite get all the way through. It kind of did. It's just when you're pulling it up, they'd separate. And I kind of had to get out them little overlap areas with I just use a X-Acto knife or razor blade, a really sharp knife to get in under the edge and start peeling it off. And so right now, I'm just going to go around, make sure I don't have any little pieces of tape hanging off the edge, make sure everything's sealed down nice and tight. Because now, once I got that stencil cut out, like I said, it was about 7 minutes of laser time. Probably should have went down to 400 speed to make sure it burned through them double layers a little better. It took about 15 minutes maybe to get all that weeded out. It went pretty easy. There was just a few little overlap spots. Places like this really fine line of tape right here, I have to be careful not to peel that up. So gonna spray paint in 2 tones, red on the bottom, kind of let it mist up to the top, and then I'm going to paint yellow on the top. And you could have done 3 colors. I just didn't have any orange on me right now. I was going to do a three paint layering, but I didn't have any orange handy, so this is a practice piece and just seeing how well it works. So an orange and a yellow, we'll start with that and see how it comes out. Then I'm probably gonna let it dry for at least 4 to 6 hours. Make sure that paint's good and dry before I start peeling up the edge around the paint. And then once we get all this masking tape taken off, I'm probably going to use the Rust-Oleum mirror effect and put a layer of that over the whole thing. 5 coats, and then I'll spray paint black on just to kind of help seal in that mirror paint, protect it a little bit. And then we'll be done. So I'll show you once I got the first coats of colored paint on where it's at. So that's how the spray painting come out. Said I just had red and yellow. Just let the red over mist up into the top a little bit. That kind of created an orange transition when I put the yellow on. So far that's looking really nice for just a quick practice piece. We'll see how it does when I peel off the outside layer. Like, even if I didn't put a mirror effect, if I just painted that background black, that would make a really nice looking piece. And it's only taken 7 minutes of laser time. You're not sitting there trying to etch the glass, do anything fancy. Basically just masking off and spray painting. So it can go pretty quick. You can get a project done pretty fast. So I'm going to put it in my fume hood, turn the fan on, let the air blow over it for a few hours and get it good and dry. And then I'll try peeling off the rest of the tape. So that's where it's at right now. I let it dry in the hood for hour and a half, and it felt pretty dry to the touch. So I went ahead and peeled all the tape off. For the most part, it come off pretty clean. There's probably a few edges here and there that are a little rough. That might be from my cheap painter's tape, not sure. But for a demo piece and my first try at it, so far I'm really happy how that paint job turned out. It looks nice just as clear glass. It would look nice painting all the background black. It would really make that color pop. But said we're going to try using the Rust-Oleum mirror effect, because I do think this one was a little better than the Krylon brand. So I'll go put on 5 different coats. This stuff dries really fast. You put on a coat, let it dry a minute, put on another coat, let it dry a minute, and you do that 5 times. And then within like 30 minutes, it's supposed to be able to handle. So I'll do that, let it get good and dry, and then I'll put a black coat over the top of the mirror effect just to kind of help protect it. And I'll show you that result when I'm done. So there's the final image. You can see in the mirror effect, it's definitely the thinner you can put it on with an even coat, the better the mirror effect will be. Like if you overspray, it kind of puddles up, and when it puddles, as it dries, it'll kind of make swirl marks. So if you can put on just a really thin coat, I still only put 5 coats on, but if you put it on really thin and do 6 coats, you'll probably get a better mirror effect. You can see there's a few places where my edge of my paint got a little jagged, but with this logo and kind of the fire effect of the paint job, them little bit of rough ragged edges doesn't really affect it very much. Especially this is, like I said, just some old glass I had laying around, some old paint. The spray paint was probably about 5 years old. I was amazed I could even get the spray can to still spray. So for our first try at it, I think it turned out really well. Like I said, it's just another alternative method to doing a mirror without having to spend all, like, running your laser really slow and at maximum power to burn through the mirror. There's certain images that might be what you have to do, but if you're just trying to create a simple little logo mirror for around the house, you can go buy any cheap picture frame from Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Michaels. Find one that's on sale. Just a quick masking job, a few minutes on the laser, and then a little spray paint time and drying time. You don't have a lot of laser time or a lot of personal time invested into the project, and just something fun to create for yourself or your man cave or wherever you want to use it for. But like, subscribe, share. Hope you found it interesting. It was just a fun little project to try out. Leave any comments below. Let me know what you think.